Welcome to the Mechanical Room. A Centrotherm production focusing on all things in and around the HVAC industry. And now, your hosts, Michael Sakaris and Matthew Price.
All right, welcome in. We took a quick change of venue here, moved from the blue room to the green room. Felt it matched Buddy's hair a little bit more appropriately.
I don't know,
Highlighter.
Centrotherm lube,
yeah,
one or the other.
Sarin. Good to go. So we just got done with the factory tour.
We did.
Yeah, so this was your first time actually at the factory. You never visited the old factory. But
I never visited
we did get to drive by it though the other day.
We did.
You got to see at least from the outside what it looked like. So
Yep.
just an impression from the outside, what do you think?
Much bigger building.
Yeah.
It's a little blue outside. I thought it would be greener
Yeah.
on the outside of the building, but you know.
We should talk about that, right? We should
Yeah,
get someone to
get
paint
some
the outside of the
green.
building. I'll get the landlord on it.
Yeah.
Any day now. So what were your impressions of the factory? This is your first time up here?
Different parts that are made, how they're made, stuff
Yeah.
like that. How they're similar processes to the other processes I've seen
Yeah.
or do in the field.
Yeah.
How parts are made, where they're stored and stuff like that, and some of the bigger sizes you see and some of the other pieces that you don't really think of or know to be a Centrotherm part on other appliances that are being made here for the other manufacturers. Pretty neat.
Yeah. Some of the OEM stuff that we make is
OEM.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Stuff that I didn't even know before I came on to Centrotherm that was part of the business here is
Yep.
that we manufacture internal components for things. I was just down at Energy Kinetics the other day and saw the internal components for their boiler, and I was like, oh, those are all
Those
Centrotherm
are ours,
products.
yeah.
I recognize that, you know?
I do that a lot when
Yeah.
I see different stuff. And Telehut has almost exclusively
Yeah.
Centrotherm pieces inside of it.
So you strike me, you've been on other factory tours.
I have.
Yeah, for sure. So have you ever seen any extrusion stuff done before?
I have not seen extrusion stuff done at any factory that
It
I've
was
been to.
one of my coolest things. So I toured, before I worked for Centrotherm, I toured the old factory and got to see the extrusion line, and I thought it was really cool how the two machines work
Yep.
in parallel, right? One pushing the pipe, one pulling.
Pulling and making the pipe what it is.
Exactly it.
Solidified, back to solid.
Yep, and then just all the way at the end, it goes down, comes out, bells the pipe, and then we put the gasket.
Stuff the gasket and put it in a box. It's
Yeah.
pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then how about the hand welding station?
Hand welding was different to see how they have a machine that cuts the hole and then people physically put the pipe in the right angle and tack it and then go back and refill it. That's
Yeah.
pretty nice.
Yeah, it's one of the things that always struck me about that section was the individual stamp by the welder, right? So that way, if we need to track down any kind of issues with product, we have it.
We
right
know who
down
touched it.
Right, it's an important part and speaks to the durability and the quality of the product. So what else did you see out there?
It's funny how little plastic beads turn into 10-foot length of pipe
Yeah, right? Yeah.
by a little bit of heat.
They just load up into a hopper, get melted down, and then you end
come
up
out
with
the
this
other
pipe
end
out.
with a piece
Yeah.
of pipe.
That's
It's
exactly right.
the largest extrusion I've ever seen.
Yeah. We were talking, so something that I kind of want to get out and talk to kind of the general public now that you've seen it in person, right? We were talking last night at dinner about how, oftentimes at the counter there's still talks about larger lead times, stuff that
Yes.
was from a while back, but you've seen the inventory.
So the
now in
inventory is
person.
sitting on the shelves here. So typically they're just going to have to order it and it's going to show up
exactly.
much sooner than later.
Back to 1 to 2 day lead times for A and B parts.
Well,
but,
I just
mean,
ordered
you've seen
parts
it. It's-
last week and they showed up in the same week. So
Yeah, that's. Just having this space for it made a huge difference.
I'm sure in the
you'll
other
see some of
factory you
it.
didn't have the room to put the
It was.
made material. So who needs
much
what
tighter.
when was just in an order, and now you can make
That's exactly it.
a bundle of all this and a bundle of all that, put it on a shelf, and then rebundle the next product, and
Yeah.
you're good to go.
And we saw a product that you actually didn't even really know about.
I didn't. You got
So
the
this is-
sidewall vent here. Termination, pipe and a pipe. So you got the other little pipe inside. I understand they make this in 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch exhaust. So the outside would be obviously a pipe size bigger. We call them torpedoes in the field. I like these a lot better than the flat plates they put on the side of houses.
Yeah.
Because it usually allows it to run a little bit farther away from the house with the intake closer to the house so you don't get as much recirculation.
Yeah.
I find with the flat plates that a lot of manufacturers send with the bigger oval shape, you get a lot more recirculation than you do with this.
Sure.
There's a couple different versions. You got a rooftop one I like too. Just trying to figure out like what roof flange you would use with it. I think would be the sizing, because like I do a lot of roof penetrations now, and the 3-inch roof boot doesn't fit 3-inch Centrotherm because the OD of the piping is different. But we leave a hub sitting in the roof flange, and it's the right size because the hub is like the outside diameter of regular plastic
matches
pipe.
the OD better.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense. Yeah, and then you take and you can go 2-pipe to single concentric, which is pretty
if we
nice
had the
as
right
well.
2 pieces, yeah.
If we had the right 2 pieces together, if we had
This
thought
is for the
about that a
biggest
little
set.
bit
Yeah, before we played with it.
Yeah.
It's just the pieces sitting up here in this training room is pretty neat.
But it's cool, you know, a nice trip to the factory, and you get to see some stuff that you hadn't seen before. That's kind of why we do
Yeah.
these things for people. That's why we bring people out to the factory to make these visits, so that way you can see something maybe that you weren't aware that we carried. You know, get an idea for what our process is. So,
And checking out the Air Excellence products, which I'm looking forward to putting in my own house.
Yeah.
To get some air movement in the house. And it's all going to fit above the ceiling, which I think is pretty amazing.
so you think it's an interesting question about that? Might be a side note, might not be part of this at all. You think ERVs and HRVs are going to start making a little bit of a comeback? Because they were hot for a little while as people were talking about tightening up the building envelopes, and then like.
So I'm
they
seeing
kind
more and
faded
more of
away.
them in the commercial side because I do more commercial work.
Sure.
So we just put in 2 giant rooftop mounted ERVs, 24-inch round pipe hooked up to them. CFMs, I didn't pay attention to all the details of them because it wasn't really my part of the job.
Sure.
I was doing something else, but my company, Cullen Mechanical, is doing ERVs all the time.
Yeah.
If you're doing rooftops and you don't have an economizer, then you're doing an ERV to exchange some air so that people
sure.
can actually breathe fresh air in the house.
Yeah,
in
just
the building.
Again, tightening up building envelopes is such a big thing, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
become even more so now. It's kind of taken off again, and people are concerned
The
about
common
the energy
areas, they're trying to clean up the energy and make sure that there's air exchange throughout the building. So I see a lot more ERVs getting installed commercially.
Yeah, that's why we're launching the Air Excellent product, which is already out in Canada. We don't have it
Yep.
quite here in the States. A little bit of couple of exceptions on that, but
So
for
we'll
the
be
most part, it's
pushing,
Canadian. Yeah.
I'm sure once we get a couple installs going and we get some more approvals that we'll see it more often.
All right. Now I'm told I got to flip my hat for the hard-hitting
Well, at least
question.
you're not in New York
right?
though, with your hat on backwards.
It's fine. That's fine. We're good. We're not going to arm wrestle because you crushed
All right.
me at arm wrestling.
It's okay.
But who won the second game of bowling last night? Just for clarity purposes, just so
who
we have
won-
it on the record.
Who won the first game of
Just,
bowling?
let's not
a
talk
lot.
about the
I
first
think
round.
The first
round
round
was the warm-up. Everybody knows the first
Listen,
round is
first
the warm-up.
round, I kicked your ass.
It's the warm-up round. I
Second-
was just,
second
getting the
round-
arm loose,
Second
heating
round,
it up.
you did win, beat my son by 3.
By 3.
By 3.
Yeah.
I think I beat you by like 15. So
No, come on, it couldn't have been.
I mean, I can go
15.
back
think
on my
maybe,
foot.
maybe 1 or 2 points. We'll pull up some video evidence
pull up
later
some
and see what it
evidence,
looks
definitely.
like. I don't
I
know.
mean,
You know how us New Yorkers
you
do.
definitely
It's
won
not
the
really-
second round.
The
But
second
I will
round is
say
the
my
important
fingers were a little sore getting stuck in the ball
Yeah.
a couple times. So
Yeah, that'll happen.
you might have a sprained finger. So I mean, injury and you won, so it doesn't really count.
Oh, it's an injury. That's why you won the I won the second. Okay, all right. It came down to the last ball though. We actually
You winning in the second round is like using 2-inch pipe. It's just I don't know how to do it.
just don't know.
I mean, you give me some of this 6-inch pipe, I'm all set.
Sure, yeah.
Like, what is this thing? Look at this. Another thing, look, I got extra pieces in here. I don't even know what to do with this.
There's extra parts.
It's
Sometimes
a different,
we just put extra pieces.
and this is
there
what
for
I
you.
sit here and I like coming to factories because like this one's got a stamp. Whoever number 3 is, he stamped it right there,
Good old
and he
number
did it
3.
right there. So as you guys showed me downstairs, you guys all have your own stamp. Whoever's doing your welding situation.
Yeah.
And this is another product. I don't know what it is. I'm assuming that this is probably something to do with some kind of termination of some sort. I don't know. I'm sure I could figure it out opening the book and reading about it, but with a
Actually, no, I'm sorry. This used to be an adapter. It's missing a piece.
okay, yeah, that's
But
what I assumed.
Functionally, it looks like obviously the manifold adapter.
Yeah.
But this is actually the 4 to 6 concentric adapter piece, which is what this lip is. Over
Right.
There, right.
All right, that makes sense.
So intake and exhaust.
Exhaust.
This, and then a 4.
See, these are what I would be using. This is, big boy pipe with a nice concentric. I'm sure the torpedo goes through the middle and attaches onto the intake.
And we make this as 4 to 6 as well. I'll send you.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
I'll have you that will send you 4 to 6 adapter
I use both, so whatever. Not a pallet, just one. And make sure you put my phone number on the delivery address.
Right. Otherwise,
I don't want to get a phone call saying I ordered from someone else when I'm not ordering anything. I'm just perfect. Okay. No, like if I had this and the pieces that just went with this is all I need.
Yeah, so samples.
Jordan, what else do you want from us video-wise?
Just shoot shit a little bit. I mean, it's funny. I mean, like, you know.
We did a little bit of that. We did some trash talking about bowling. We did, we added a little bit in there, Yeah, unless you need like a thank you or anything at the end of it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So to wrap things up here, buddy, thanks for coming to the factory today.
No
we
problem.
appreciate you stopping up, making the drive out. It was only not a terrible
not
drive.
a far
right?
drive. It's
Yeah.
to learn something new or see other things that you got going on. It's kind of neat. And products I use all the time, I really like to see how that stuff gets made.
We appreciate all you do for us. I mean, there's nothing better for us than when someone who's in the field actually using the product pushes it out there and talks about it as you do so often. You're out there talking, active in all the social media communities, talking to people about it. It's great. It's the best ambassador we could ask for.
I try.
So we're happy to have you here at the factory. Happy to spend the time with you. So really appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, man.
No problem.
Right on.